Since it's May now, I want to talk about the movies coming out this month. You know, what's worth checking out and, what's not really worth checking out. We're going to start with this weekend, which is really just dominated by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy has been one of, if not the best trilogy Marvel has had to offer, and this is the final chapter of that trilogy. Not only of the trilogy, but also just in James Gunn's stay with Marvel. After this movie, he's departing to DC probably for years and years and years to come, and we'll probably never see him really work on any sort of Marvel project again. Personally, I have loved James Gunn. I've loved the Guardians movies, but I've also loved the Suicide Squad, and I really enjoyed Peacemaker. So really all the superhero media that James Gunn has made, I have enjoyed immensely. This also looks to be probably the most emotional Guardians movie yet. Apparently it's very much about Rocket and Rocket's story and Rocket's origins, and those are just supposed to be excellently done from what I've heard. So I'm very excited to see that. Reviews for it so far have been pretty good, and the trailers have looked excellent. So I'm just really excited for this movie. Also, just one new plot element that they introduced in the holiday special is that Mantis and Peter are now related. So what are they going to do with that? Are they going to do anything with that? Or is that going to really be important for the story here? Another movie coming out this weekend is called R.M.N. R.M.N. is this Romanian movie that's been playing in festivals all throughout 2022, and it started in Cannes, which, if you don't know, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, film festival of the year, and it has been really well received. The trailer for this movie doesn't really give anything away, and I can't really tell what it's necessarily about, but I don't care because it just looks riveting, and it looks like it's about this family, and, it looks intense, and I'm excited to eventually see it, just probably not in theaters. I do think that this is a great movie to sort of balance out with Guardians for people that don't like blockbusters. If you don't like a blockbuster, well, great. You have this apparently excellent festival film also coming out this weekend, which you can totally go and check out. So aside from those two movies, there's not really anything else coming out this weekend. So we can now move on to the next weekend, the weekend of May 12th. Out of all the weekends in May, this is probably the one I am the most excited for, just because of the sheer amount of movies I think are worth looking into. Maybe not checking out, but worth looking into. I have 7 movies listed for this weekend alone that we are about to talk about. Kicking things off is this weekend's blockbuster, Knights of the Zodiac. So Knights of the Zodiac is supposed to be based off of this Japanese anime, which is apparently an excellent anime. And based on a trailer, fans of it have been saying it actually looks like it's doing a lot of the same things as the anime, which is really exciting because a lot of anime adaptations happen to really go far from what the anime tries to do, and that's why they suck. So if Knights of the Zodiac is learning from that lesson and just sticking to the anime's story, then it could actually be pretty good. The issue is that this movie seems like it's barely being advertised to really anybody. I haven't even seen this movie trailer in the theaters, and I go to the movies all the time. I run a movie YouTube channel. And because of that, I'm not expecting a lot of people to go and see this movie, but I will definitely give it a shot, and I'm excited to see it if it turns out to be good. But if it turns out to be a total stinker, then no wonder it's barely being advertised. Next up is Fool's Paradise, which is Charlie Day's directorial debut. If you don't know who Charlie Day is, he's the guy who played Luigi in Mario, and not only did he direct this movie, but he also wrote it, and he's starring in it. So this movie has a lot of Charlie Day. It seems like this movie is about this guy who is a total mute and just can't talk whatsoever, becoming a Hollywood celebrity and just a famous actor. And I feel like that could just make for such a hilarious plot and just a hilarious storyline. And, maybe it'll be just so ridiculous and over the top and go all over the place and in all these wacky directions that sort of suck. But it could also just be really fun and entertaining and maybe even wholesome. From what it sounds like, it seems like Charlie Day has really just been waiting on this movie, trying to perfect it and take his time with it. They wrapped up filming and they put a pause on editing because Day had to go and film Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A lot of movies will just continue editing or continue production or continue whatever while, the director is away sometimes. So just hearing that makes me pretty happy. It just makes me feel like it's really at least going in the direction that Day wants it to go in, and it's not going to be this skewed movie. Also, this is another Ray Liotta performance for this year, and after Cocaine Bear wasn't that great, I really hope that this movie is able to honor Liotta's legacy a lot better. So I'm very excited for that. Not to mention that the rest of the cast is also star-studded, so this could be a really genuinely good movie, and I can't wait to see it. Next is a movie called BlackBerry. If you can't tell by the title already, BlackBerry is about the BlackBerry phone and, the invention of it, as well as the fall. Based on the trailer, this movie kind of looks like a mix of Air, which came out this year and I absolutely adored, and The Social Network, another movie which I adore and love. So to me, this is my most anticipated movie, not only of this weekend in May, but also the entire month of May. The one thing with this movie is that apparently most of it's shot in this handheld type of style, which some people think is like The Office, but when I think of handheld, I think of Succession, and I love Succession. So if this feels a little like Succession, that's great. I don't mind it. And to cap things all off, reviews for this movie have been pretty great so far. Coming out on Apple TV Plus on May 12th is this documentary called Still. Still is just this documentary about Michael J. Fox's life, which is apparently really interesting. And the issue for me is that I just haven't watched a lot of Michael J. Fox, so I'm gonna check out this documentary, but I'm not connected with him in any sort of way as a viewer, and because of that, I'm just not that interested. But if you happen to be a fan of Michael J. Fox, then this is for you and you'll probably love it and eat it up. Coming out on Disney Plus is this movie called Crater. Since it's a Disney Plus original, to be honest, I don't have a lot of hope. But apparently it's the same producers as Stranger Things, so maybe there's a little bit of hope. Based on the trailers, it takes place all on the moon, and it's about these kids who have grown up in this moon base but never left, and now get the chance to leave. And I guess it's just like about their journey on the moon after they leave the base. So maybe it can be good, or maybe it'll kind of be a bit of a stinker. I personally probably am not going to check this movie out, but if the reviews seem good, maybe I will give it a shot. Monica is also coming out this weekend, but in a limited release. Monica is a movie about this transgender woman coming back to see her mother after they had a falling out. It seems like they had this falling out because she decided to become a transgender woman. And that's why the falling out happened. So it seems like it's sort of about them rekindling this love, and the reason why she's even revisiting her mother is because her mom's very sick. So we'll see. Reviews have been very promising so far, and I will definitely be checking this movie out. I just don't know if I'm going to get a chance to see it in theaters. And finally is Hypnotic. To be honest, this movie looks pretty bad. Sure, it stars Ben Affleck, but it's directed by Robert Rodriguez, who's the same guy who directed all the bad Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett episodes. So personally, I don't really have any hope for this movie, but again, if it turns out to be decent, I will check it out. It just doesn't look good, really whatsoever, based on the trailers and the talent behind the camera. We finally made it out of this weekend, so now on to the weekend of May 19th. The blockbuster coming out this weekend is Fast X, which is really going to be dominating the theaters this weekend. Personally, I'm not the biggest Fast and Furious fan, but this is going to be the second to last movie in the entire franchise. It looks like Jason Momoa is the new antagonist, and he is great, and I think he can be a great fit for Fast X and really mesh perfectly with the Fast and Furious cast. Just in my opinion, very sadly and tragically, this franchise peaked and was at its best when Paul Walker was still with us. And now that he's died, I feel like these movies have gotten worse, which is really tragic and sad, but personally, that's just how I feel. His character was always my favorite character, and ever since then, I just haven't really felt that into the franchise. And also Dwayne Johnson's character, Hobbs, was another one of the better characters, and because of his beef with Vin Diesel, he's not going to be in these movies anymore. So, in my opinion, you just don't have the same people that were making these movies great. And I bet that this movie is going to be okay and passable, but is it going to be this great blockbuster? Probably not. The other movie going to theaters this weekend is called Sanctuary. This seems a lot like a COVID movie where it really stars the two main actors, Christopher Abbott and Margaret Qualley. Apparently their performances are really good here though. The thing is that this movie just seems incredibly sexy and twisted, and there's not really that much to say in my opinion. Really, to sum up my thoughts, if you're in a really kinky relationship, you and your partner will probably love and eat up this movie. And I'm sure I'll like it too, because I was really into Infinity Pool, and Infinity Pool did a lot of weird, kinky things. So I'm sure I'm gonna like this. But really, it feels like couples that are just really out there with what they do are the people that this movie was made for. Finally is the Hulu original remake of the 1994 classic White Men Can't Jump, also titled White Men Can't Jump. Personally, I really don't have any faith in this movie because it's starring Jack Harlow. And it's a remake of this movie that came out only in 1994. And it's this classic movie that people go back to and love to this day. So what's the point in remaking it? The one redeeming quality for me, and the reason why I might actually check this movie out, is that it features Lance Reddick, who tragically died right before John Wick came out, and he's been somebody that has starred in all of the John Wick movies. So if I do watch this movie, it probably is because of him. But at the end of the day, this movie just seems like it's going to be a classic case of Hollywood just needing more original ideas. Really, what is the point of making another White Men Can't Jump? You tell me. And now for the final weekend of May, Memorial Day weekend, we have 4 movies of note to talk about. Of course, kicking things off is The Little Mermaid remake. I'd kind of forgotten about Disney remakes in general until the other day when I watched Peter Pan and Wendy, and it sucked. And I was like, oh yeah, Disney makes these all the time, and they're usually not that good. So because of that, I don't know how much faith I really have in The Little Mermaid, but maybe it'll do some things different and really bring the animated movie to life a bit and be good, maybe. I don't know. I don't really just have much. I do have a little faith in this movie, and I'm definitely going to check it out, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this movie. I do have two things I am excited about with this movie though. First is Halle Bailey playing Ariel. I think that she could be pretty good, and I'm excited to see her performance and to bring Ariel to life. And the other thing I'm excited for is that Lin-Manuel Miranda has been a part of reproducing the music from the animated movie, and I love Lin-Manuel. I'm a huge Hamilton nerd, so I love what he does, and I love what he does with music specifically. So I think the music for this movie could be pretty excellent. Or who knows, maybe it won't be that good, but I'm excited nonetheless. Next is The Machine, which is a sequel, I guess, to Bert Kreischer's bit when he had this Netflix stand-up comedy special and was talking about how he went to Russia and he was like with the Russian mafia and they were calling him the Machine. Well, they made a whole movie sequel to that. It really seems completely pointless to me and probably won't be that good. If you want one redeeming quality, it's that it stars Mark Hamill. But the main actor here is Bert Kreischer himself. If anything, maybe make a recreation of the bit and try to make a movie out of that. And maybe that would be a little better, especially because you can get an actual actor to come in and play Bert. But the fact that you're getting a comedian to come and star in this movie, it's probably just not gonna be that great. But who knows? If I'm wrong, awesome. But probably not. Thank God it also features Mark Hamill. Next is About My Father. Movies like these make me a little sad, to be honest, just because it seems like they are the ones that have knocked Robert De Niro from his pedestal of being one of, if not the greatest actor in the world. This movie might be a little funny, but I have a feeling that the best joke in this entire movie did get ruined by the trailer, that being the peacock joke, because it really seems like they completely overplay it in the trailer, and a minute of all the trailers are dedicated to this peacock joke. So it really seems like that's the biggest moment in this movie. And what is that, 5 to 10 minutes of an hour and a half? If you want to go and get your De Niro dose for the year, just wait until Killers of the Flower Moon, because I don't think this is really worth checking out. And finally is Kandahar, which I'm just going to give a quick one-sentence description. Another Gerard Butler action movie, but this time in the Middle East. For me, if I had to give a top 3 most anticipated movies of this month, it would probably go BlackBerry, Guardians 3, and then Fool's Paradise. But I want to ask you guys, what about you? What movies do you plan on checking out this month? What are your top 3 most anticipated movies of the month? I want to know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you like this video and you want to see me make more of these, please like and subscribe, and just let me know what you think, because I really value all the feedback you guys have to offer. Also, if you want to see what I think of these movies as soon as I see them, feel free to check out my Letterboxd. The link to that is in the description below. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.